In the grand arena of human existence, where every choice is a calculated move and every interaction a silent battle for influence, most men navigate blindly, unaware of the dark currents that steer their instincts, sculpt their decisions, and dictate their fates. Three shadowy forces: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy lurk within every soul, shaping desires, ambitions, and behaviors in ways few dare to confront. Ignorance of these forces is not a mere oversight. It is a fatal vulnerability, leaving men open to manipulation, discarded by those who see through their facades, and forgotten by a world that reveres strength over sentiment. Yet, the rare few who summon the courage to peer into the abyss of their own psyche, to name and master the darkness within, seize a power most cannot fathom. True power belongs not to those who cloak themselves in false virtue, but to those who embrace their shadows, directing them with ruthless clarity. If you cannot identify the force that governs your emotions, drives your ambitions, or whispers through your instincts, it has already charted your destiny. Worse still, most men delude themselves into believing they are strong, when in truth, they are enslaved by impulses they cannot see. Consider the man who enters a room, his presence commanding attention not because of his deeds, but because of his need to be seen. This is the first type, the narcissist, a figure misunderstood as self-loving, but in reality a prisoner of others' perceptions. He does not adore himself. He craves adoration, his every action a performance in a desperate theater of validation. His mind does not seek power or opportunity, but attention whose eyes linger on him, whose words praise him, whose silence offends him. He calculates not strategy, but applause, measuring his worth by the intensity of the spotlight. To the world, he appears confident, charismatic, even destined for greatness, and he may convince you of his self-assurance. But beneath this polished exterior lies a fragile pride, a hollow core that trembles at the slightest slight. One insult, and he spirals into rage or despair. One rejection, and he plots revenge. Not out of cunning, but out of a primal need to restore his wounded ego. His hunger for admiration is insatiable, for no amount of praise can fill the void within. You see him everywhere, the loudest voice in the room, the most curated appearance. His smile too wide, his eyes darting for signs of disrespect. Praise makes him radiant. Indifference makes him wilt. A challenge shatters him. His defenses are not armor, but illusions. A house of mirrors that collapses when the reflection no longer flatters. When those illusions crack, he lurches into chaos, rage that consumes him or despair that engulfs him. Neither rational nor controlled, he's an empire built on fragile glass, and when it shatters, he burns the world to reclaim his image. This is why so many men falter in silence, not for lack of talent or ambition, but because their egos are too brittle to withstand reality's blows. A single defeat sends them retreating into fantasy. A bruised pride keeps them from rising again. They are not warriors but children in adult forms, craving applause over conquest, chasing compliments instead of victories. Yet, the narcissist can rise, and often does, because he masters the art of wearing the perfect mask. He molds himself to what others admire, becoming a mirror of their desires. In politics, entertainment, or leadership, narcissists often ascend faster than their peers, seducing while others debate, posing while others hesitate. The crowd, ever eager to worship, hands them the crown, mistaking their performance for substance. But this ascent is a cruel paradox. What elevates the narcissist ensures his downfall. The moment admiration fades, he self-destructs. History is strewn with such figures: emperors like Nero, whose need for adulation led to erratic tyranny; modern celebrities who crumbled when the spotlight dimmed; leaders who could not bear criticism and vanished when praise dried up. It was not failure that broke them, but their addiction to being seen as flawless. This addiction is not merely personal. It is dangerous to all who orbit them. When admiration wanes, the narcissist manipulates, guilt trips, or lies, rewriting history to preserve his image. He demonizes those who no longer feed his ego, turning allies into enemies. In relationships, he becomes controlling, demanding constant validation. In business, he turns vindictive, punishing those who dare to challenge him. He cannot let you walk away, for your attention is his oxygen. If he cannot be the hero, he plays the victim, or, worse, The villain not out of strategy but out of desperation. This is not power but dependency masquerading as dominance. The loudest, most polished, those who must always be special, they are not free. They are starving for applause, dying for validation. The tragedy is that most narcissists never see their cage until it is too late. They mistake compliments for greatness, building a false self for the world to admire while their true self decays, unnoticed and unloved. They never pause to ask, who am I when no one is watching? That question is their haunting specter, and if they face it, it shatters them. The narcissist does not seek power but the illusion of power, and that illusion becomes his prison. A gilded cage he cannot escape, yet some narcissists evolve, learning to weaponize their charm. They shift from fragile performers to calculated manipulators, studying attention like a battlefield. They seduce not to be loved, but to control, trading compliments for loyalty, obedience, even worship. This evolved narcissist is no longer a child begging for praise, but a performer who knows the audience better than they know themselves. He confesses flaws to seem brave, shares pain to appear heroic, admits failure to look resilient. His vulnerability is a trap, his charisma a weapon. You lower your guard, trusting his authenticity, only to find yourself orbiting his ego, feeling inferior, questioning yourself, craving his approval, fearing his silence. He has you exactly where he wants you, uncertain, impressed, submissive. He does not build connections but mirrors, and you are valuable only as long as you reflect what he desires. Show independence, strength, or anger, and he punishes you with distance, cruelty, or sudden withdrawal, always framing it as your fault. This manipulation is masterful. You cannot argue with him, for he has rehearsed every response. You cannot accuse him, for he turns it against you. You cannot shame him, for he uses your accusations to paint you as the problem. If you try to leave, he becomes the version of himself you once loved, just long enough to pull you back. He does not want you. He wants your admiration. He does not love you. He loves how you make him feel. When he no longer needs you, he discards you gently, poetically, perhaps with tears, but discards you all the same. Yet, even when you see through him, even when you walk away, a part of you aches. He imprints himself on your psyche, noticing details others miss, saying things others dare not, giving you a fleeting taste of being truly seen before snatching it away. That is his drug, and once you taste it, others seem dull. Even if you hate him, if you remember him, he wins. His tragedy is his hollowness, a core so empty that all his masks, all his crafted identities, are but shifting images seeking something real. He is both master and prisoner of his performance, running from the silence that would force him to face the truth. He does not know who he is. For those who escape this cage, a darker path awaits. The rare few who tire of chasing admiration and begin craving control evolve into a colder, more calculated force. This man does not need to be loved, feared, or even noticed. He needs only to be obeyed. Where the narcissist seeks attention, this figure seeks leverage, studying people like blueprints, mapping their desires, insecurities, and weaknesses with surgical precision. His words are never spontaneous, but moves on a chessboard, designed to shift power, not feelings. He trusts no one, for he knows the game is not about being liked, but about being untouchable. People are tools, usable, sharpenable, breakable, replaceable. He does not hate them, nor does he romanticize them. Emotions are liabilities. Loyalty is negotiable. Kindness is camouflage. And truth is a weapon to be wielded or withheld as strategy demands. You find him in the shadows, the silent advisor, the strategist pulling strings while others take the stage. He speaks only when it serves his purpose, observes before being noticed, measures you before you realize you are being studied. His compliments conceal no admiration. His anger betrays no weakness. His stories reveal no strategy. You leave his presence thinking you have connected, but you have only given him your fears, your desires, your vulnerabilities, while he has given you nothing but a curated facade. His advantage is invisibility. While the narcissist craves the spotlight, he knows that visibility is vulnerability. The unseen man survives, the unnoticed man wins. He plays long, quiet games with no audience, letting others boast while he gathers power. By the time you realize he is dangerous, he already controls half the board. His restraint sets him apart from lesser manipulators. He does not act on impulse, burn bridges needlessly, or seek petty revenge. Every betrayal is timed, every alliance conditional, every word loaded with intent. He is not cruel but efficient, helping or hurting as the board demands, always with elegance, never with emotion. In history, such figures have shaped empires from the shadows. Cardinal Richelieu, who orchestrated France's rise in the 17th century while remaining a quiet force behind the throne. Talleyrand, who navigated the French Revolution and Napoleonic era with chameleon-like adaptability. Or modern political strategists who engineer campaigns, not by seeking fame but by controlling narratives. In business, he is the CEO's trusted confidant, knowing every secret and owing no loyalty. He does not need the throne to rule. He needs only the man on the throne to need him. His power lies in debts, secrets, and silence, acquired not through force, but through positioning. Yet, even this figure is not immune to danger. His fatal flaw is arrogance, the belief that he is always the smartest in the room. A single miscalculation, an underestimation of an opponent, and his carefully laid traps become targets. The greatest power is the power you hide, and if he plays too long, too cold, too detached, he risks losing sight of why he began. His empire rots from within, not from defeat but from isolation. No one truly knows him, and no one truly stays. His relationships are transactions, his victories hollow. He has mastered the game but forgotten its purpose. Ask yourself, are you becoming this figure? Do you see people as levers rather than lives? Do you watch more than you speak, calculate more than you feel? Do you find calm in chaos, surgical precision in betrayal? If so, you may feel unstoppable, but beware the cost. No connection, no peace. No true alliance, only advantage, only survival. Once you choose this path, innocence is lost and a darker abyss beckons. Some grow weary of strategy, of restraint, of endless calculation. In their fatigue, they abandon precision for chaos, evolving into the most feared force of all. This figure does not plan meticulously or crave admiration. He acts on pure impulse, pure will, pure dominance, unburdened by guilt, shame, or hesitation. While others weigh risks, he moves. While others fear consequences, he creates them. He is the embodiment of detachment, not spiritual but surgical, feeling nothing but the thrill of power when others flinch. You will not recognize him at first, for he is not always chaos. Often, he is eerily calm, his eyes cold, fixed, unreadable. He does not over-explain, justify, or hesitate. Problems, people, consequences, they do not exist to him. Conscience is a weight, emotion a leash, the past irrelevant. Only the next move matters. He lies without blinking, hurts without guilt, destroys without pause, not out of malice but out of instinct. The predator does not hate the prey. He simply does not care if it bleeds. He thrives in chaos, walking through fire while others freeze. Where the narcissist crumbles without applause and the strategist waits for the perfect moment, he creates the moment. He breaks rules before they break him, crosses lines others fear to approach. His advantage is terrifying. He is willing to go further, ignore laws, silence morality. Limits are not ethical to him. They are optional. His intelligence is not reckless but focused, his mimicry flawless. He can cry, smile, or charm as needed, but inside, nothing moves. He severed vulnerability long ago, through trauma or choice, and now he is ungoverned by conscience. In history, such figures have risen in times of collapse. Warlords like Genghis Khan, who conquered without remorse, Viking chieftains who ruled through raw dominance, or modern figures like certain ruthless CEOs who thrive in corporate warfare. They command not through inspiration, but through force, often psychological. Their gaze freezes rooms, their silence breaks men. Their presence alters gravity. In a world built on shared delusions, morality, empathy, consequence, the man who steps outside those illusions holds unthinkable power. He acts without restraint, decides without remorse, destroys without blinking. Yet, this power comes at a cost. He gains control but loses humanity. He may win wars but walks off battlefields alone. He may build empires but sits on thrones in silence. No one trusts him, loves him, or stays. He is a storm, leaving bodies in his wake, untouched by loss. He does not want salvation, only dominance. His name may echo in history, but no one grieves him when he is gone. The delusion of envy tempts many to mimic his coldness, believing strength lies in fear, freedom in feeling nothing. But his emptiness is not an asset. It is a condition. He cannot love, feel joy, or belong. When he fails, he does not spiral or recalculate, he simply ceases, for he never learned to suffer, wait, or rebuild. His life is a string of no's, each louder, bloodier, more defiant than the last. He thrives in disruption, not creation, in conquest, not governance. When there are no more enemies to break, no more chaos to feed on, the thrill fades, and he is left with nothing. COs, generals, cult leaders, crime lords, they command through force, not inspiration. Their silence can break a man, their presence shifts the room's gravity. Yet, their power is fleeting, for they do not build or preserve, only dominate and move on. The tragedy is not their failure, but their isolation. They rule without attachment, win without joy, and when they fall, they vanish into a void deeper than death, for it is alive with silence. Which shadow rules you? Are you chasing praise, believing applause makes you real? Are you moving pieces, convinced control equals safety? Or are you detached, untouchable, but empty? Most men are ruled by one, influenced by another, and pretend to be none. The path to true power lies not in denying these shadows, but in confronting them with brutal honesty. Awareness is the beginning of mastery, not to suppress the dark, but to direct it. The man who disciplines his need for praise, sharpens his strategic mind, and chains his ruthless impulses is not innocent, not soft, not safe, but he is awake. In a world of sleeping men, he is the most dangerous of all. The world is a stage, and you are ruled by a shadow. One of these forces whispers through your instincts, shapes your choices, determines your fate. Are you ready to face the mask you've worn so long you forgot it was a mask? Are you willing to master the darkness within instead of being consumed by it? Declare your resolve. I master my shadow. Turn awareness into power. And let the world bend to your will. The journey is brutal, but the reward is sovereignty, not over others, but over yourself. For in mastering your shadow, you become not just a player in the game of life, but its architect.